Hey guys, and how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this Craftsman tractor that I dragged out of a property that was getting cleaned out with unknown condition. Said it didn't work is all the information we got. Well, in the last video, we were able to get the engine running and kind of gave it a once through, pressure washed it, and check the drivetrain out. All of it seems to be pretty good. So we're going to move on and start chasing some of the other stuff that's beat up on it. I got a little shopping list going on over there, but you know, it's got a ratty seat on it. The steering's kind of screwed up. Mower deck's all beat up. So let's go do a little shopping at my free pile, and we'll meet back at this tractor. We'll continue on, see if we can bring her the rest of the way back to life. Let's go see what the shed stash has for us. Should be a couple of seats, I think, back in here. They look like they're almost the same. The one closest looks a little tall, but they're both short backs. That's a word. See critters come running out. We'll go grab that one. At least it's not all tore up and it's soaked. The other one's even smaller. We'll leave that one behind. If we can't find anything else, we'll go with that one. Let's get the crate off of that one and see if that one's any better. Looks like it's pulling away from the back. Like the other one though. Yeah, that might have an issue. I think we'll leave that one be too. That one's infested with ants, and I'm sure they're up inside the seat too. Looks like the back is like I said, the back is not connected to the pan. Alright, so we got the two mower decks next to each other, and again, that's more of a garden tractor. This is more of a lawn tractor. Probably around the same year. I think they figured out the tractor was a 91 that we're working on. So this is probably, you know, mid 90s, some scenario. So on this one, we know we got a beat spindle where it's spun out the center of it. You can see where it's all smooth compared to, you know, this one's raised. So there's nothing to lock the blade in. Let's go see, first of all, if there's any threads left in this. This may have just totally wiped out the bolt, and we don't have any. Let's flip that deck over. We're either going to try stealing the center of the spindle out if it's the same. If not, we'll do our best to try to repair that one. But it's getting ahead of ourselves. Let's make sure we got, you know, apples and apples. Well, they look similar. How rotted these are, though, huh? All the corrosion that's on the aluminum and gone, and these are all locked up. They don't move, where these still spin. All three of these are still spinning pretty good, and they seem fairly quiet. So like I said, if we have to, we'll try to use the center of it, if that even works out. Let's get an air gun. We'll buzz out a couple of the bolts on there, and we'll see how they do in there. Clean that up on a wire wheel. Yeah, so here's the blade that way, and generally it would get keyed in there, and the bolt just kind of holds it against the key. Of course, it probably hit a stump or a rock or something and then spun itself loose. Let's see, throw a little oil on there, if those threads are still good, because there's a possibility when that spun it also ripped the center out of it. So you know, if it's the same size bolt, it should be. Let's try running that in. Seems good. So worst case, what we're going to do is we'll maybe try building up weld on each one of those. We'll just see if we could save it in that fashion. But I still want to try to get the center spindle out of one of them. Maybe we'll try changing it for education. Let's go see how this other one is. This one looks like it's okay. one's fine. All right, let's go get the beadings on that one. We'll probably just work on the end one right there. That don't look all that much better, does it? I wonder if it's just corrosion though in this. Nah, it's there. I would never be able to use this housing over. You're going to go try taking these bolts out. I've done this before. They're just going to snap off, and there's like nuts that are stuffed down inside this aluminum housing that you're never going to get out. So this comes out this way towards us. So we got to flip the mower deck over, take the pulley off, and try driving it out. And a lot of times they get filled up with water and it's going to be a pile, but I want to give it a shot. As you get that top cover off. I don't care if the bolts snap. And somewhere in there, it's a nut we need to get off. And then we got to get this whole pulley assembly up out of our way, and then we'll try driving the center down. Yeah, try getting a pry bar underneath, and we'll tap on the center. That top one's free. One of them. I wonder if we can get to the other side, just kind of rock it. I don't want to kill those threads, you know. There we go. So essentially, really, it's just the press fit between the bearing and the shaft. I'm going to take a wire wheel, clean some of this rust off so we're not trying to drive it through. So I have to go spin the nut on and whack it with a hammer, and that actually started spinning, and it actually feels fairly good. So that if we're able to get that assembly out of there, let's see what we get. Nah, that's what's afraid of. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to yell at me for not putting oil and all that kind of stuff in there. It's not going to work. They're not coming out. Been down this road. All right, let me go get a pair of vice grips on this. Try to get this nut a little further down on there and drive it out of the center. It actually would have been easier if I had those bolts still on there, because now it's going to want to kick to the side. There we go. Should come right out of there. That's the spindle that we need. That's the part we're looking for. Looks pretty decent. I'm going to go clean it up on a wire wheel. It looks like possibly either that had corrosion on it or this one spun once before too. If that's the case, maybe we'll look for a better one. But that's how they come out. This is the blade that's going to go on it. It's kind of, sort of. It'll key into it, but I don't know. I still don't know if that was corrosion or if it spun once before. I'm going to flip the deck over. We're going to take one more blade off of it. If we see one that's better, we'll try taking that one. If not, we'll just go with this. That one looks a lot better. I'm going to do the same thing, and we'll get that one out. We'll work with that one. Yeah, that one definitely looks a lot better than the other one. The bearing came with it. Actually, it feels pretty good. We'll get rid of this deck out of the way. We'll pull the other one down. However that one comes apart, if it comes with the bearing out, we'll just put this whole assembly in. If not, and the better bearings are in there, we'll take this one off of here. Let's get the tension off that middle one. All of them, actually. This is spring loaded. Put a wrench on it, maybe we can get it to go. Nope. How about we just muscle it? Drive over our fingers. There we go. Alright, let's go buzz that one out of there. Good thing we're changing it because the pulley is stripped on the teeth. I'm trying to take the nut off. the teeth are stripped out between there and there too, so that thing really took a hard hit. I'm going to try getting it underneath with a pair of vice grips to lock it from spinning, and we'll get the nut off of there. Yeah, here's the one that just came out. It came out with the bearing too. As long as that one feels okay. It does. Make sure they're the same. Look good, right? Yeah. We'll reassemble that. Let's go see. My only concern is if that pulley is egged out, or will it lock in? Yeah. I think we get it tight enough, we might be okay. Let's go look and see if the one that was on the other deck that was on there is the same as this one. If not, we'll steal the pulley from over there. If not, we got to work at this one. I think it was a little smaller though, wasn't it? Let's see what we got. It was that one, right? Should be the same. Yeah. Yeah, it's smaller. You know, that would do is it would change the RPM of one of those blades. So we're gonna do our best to work with this. Probably gonna take a punch. I'm gonna run around with a punch on the outside edge and try to shrink up that circle a little bit. What that does is it takes the circle and just kind of crushes it up a little bit by taking a punch and going around it. You do that sometimes with bushings and stuff too that are loose. Just let it choke up on the shaft a little. It's a joke there. I think we'll go with that. That's got it. Come on. Oh, better tight than loose, right? Instead of trying to fight the belt, put it on the pulleys, let's try fighting with the spring. Pull around it. There we go. That's a lot easier. I think we're back in action. Belt's rubbing. That looks pretty good. Let's clean those edges up a little bit. So one thing I want to go just check on, I'm going to spin the blades because sometimes the blade could be bent or that spindle that we had could be bent from hitting something. But I'm just going to eyeball them all real quick. I'm going to put my thumb here and just see how close the other one comes. That one looks pretty good. That one looks pretty good. I'm going to check the height against each other. That one's a little higher than the other one. And we get these two over. Fighting the belt right now. Let me just check these. We're good. The height's off a little bit. I don't think it has anything to do with the spindle that we replaced, but I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it real quick and see if I see anything that stands out. Yeah, that one looks decent. I'm lining these up. This one's a hair higher than the other one, but when I go to spin it to these, this one is pitched up. I'm thinking that this whole spindle has a slight bend up to it. In other words, the housing that it's sitting on is kind of cocked up this way a little bit. Because even if you look where it sits on the tins, that one's, if I laid a straight edge across it, it's probably almost flush with it, maybe even a little higher. And if you look at that one right there, I was lay a straight edge across it. So it's, this one is pitched that way a little bit. Is there anything we can kind of go do about that? Could beat on the housing a little bit. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. What happens is, like over time, the sheet metal can kind of deform a little bit, and then however that spindle is sitting will affect that. A lot of times you'll see that too. Like you'll see you're cutting your grass and it's got like a stripe to it. The deck will start rotting out, and then the mount that is sitting on, as the belt is pulling on all the time, starts to slowly make it, you know, it's rotting and it's kind of caving in and turning. That's not that drastic, but we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's go try to play with it a little bit. See if you can see, I got the screwdriver there. I'm actually touching the top of the blade right there. Let's go get something to support on it, and we'll whack on that part of the casting right there. See if we can get this housing just to shift a little bit. And it's the same either side, doesn't matter. I flip this blade over. It's not like the blade is off or the spindle's off, like I said. It's the same on both sides. It's just that whole thing is leaning that way. This needs a slight adjustment. I don't want to hit too hard on the aluminum. I don't want to crack it. There we go. That's better. I can physically see it already. Let me give it one more good one. Can I get two blades together? Just a little higher on that side. We'll work on a little more, I'll bring you back. See what we got for a difference. About 3/8 of an inch. It was touching it before. Now we got an air gap on it now. That's fine. It's a lawnmower. Well, I say we'll go for the mower deck. Let's go jump on the tractor. Before we put the mower deck on, let's go take a look at that front beam where that bolt was changed out and all. See if we can kind of clean up some of that steering. We'll back the tractor on and we'll be able to work off the edge here a little bit. I got a chain fall right there. I might be able to kind of lift it up a little bit and work. All right, see what we got. So it's got definitely like that, all that side-to-side play. That bolt's not even tight. My thinking is maybe they lost that center bolt, and when that, you know, the whole front end just kind of fell out of it, and it's probably maybe what broke this rod. Let's let that down. It may have had a spacer in between there too, is what I'm thinking, all that play is. Or if you're able to tighten down enough on it where it'll crush some of that play out. I've also seen before too, this front end doesn't look it, but I've seen where they have like a snubber bolt on each side of it, and they can do that to take some of the play out. I don't think that's the case on this. Let's lower it down, take this bolt right out of there, see what it is. Maybe we can get one a little bit longer, because that's not even gonna tighten on that. Just where the tires touch. You'll be able to get it where it's got just the right amount. There we go. Yeah. Let's go bring it back up, let that axle kind of fall out of there. I don't go too much. That's good. Let's go see how that is for a fit, you know? It's decent for as far as the snugness of it. Let's go hunting and see if I can find something that we can replace that with. The other track, like I said, was a smaller setup, I think, in the front. It's not going to fit. I mean, worst case, we could do that. Maybe we'll run it the other way, and we could put tighten it up, and then we can maybe buzz, across the bolt to keep it from backing off. Right now, there's nothing holding that. That's why I bet you that's why that mower deck has that dent in the front of it. It was hitting whatever was falling apart before. That right there. I wonder if there was a bolt or whatever it was kind of hammering up against the deck. I'm guessing, but don't know what I got for really big hardware. I mean, might be something here. That one. Kind of the same thing. A little longer. Let's go grab that one. I think it's a smaller diameter, right? Is that what we already have? Is that? Yeah. So how does that look compared to... That might just do it. That was too easy. We'll keep peeking a little bit more. A little bit longer would probably be better. Yeah. Is that right there? Oh. Well then. Don't fight it when it works, right? That's too small. Run that through the back. Get in there. That should do it. That should be enough to get the jam nut tight. I wonder if we should try shoving like maybe a washer from this one. If there's enough room to get something like that to take a little bit of that play up, or you think we should just kind of like run it with the impact gun, try to suck it together? Let's go try that. I'm also going to go pack some grease in there and help that pivot out over time. That it doesn't, because this might be plastic. I think it is. And it's flush on the other side. I wonder if that's what the play is. There's no shoulder on this side. Yeah, it's floating in there, that's why. Yeah, let's go try putting a washer on the back side. I'll grease that all up. We'll suck it down. See how it does. We'll just kind of lube the hole. Load up a bolt maybe and yep, you got to make the noises. Come on now. Open the back side. We'll go with the trusty finger. Yeah. And the face of it, because it's going to rub on there too, right? And I need a rag. Let's try lowering that down. I don't know if I have enough room for the washer, but let's find out. It'd be easier if we do this front. Let's do this front side, just because it's easier to get to. I think if we try doing it out back, we're just gonna fight ourselves. Let's get the bolt in. Back that up a hair. If there's enough room to wiggle a washer up in between there. Yeah, there is. Can we get two? Should we get greedy? Nah, we'll leave it like that. Come on, bolt. Come on. There you go. Right. That. Left washer. And then the nut. That's the right one? Yes, it is. I'm going to go throw some wrenches on that and we'll go crank that down. We'll see what we got for play from side to side now. Still quite a bit. I wonder if we should get a washer on each side of it. Would it help or hurt? I'm going to try putting... I'm going to spare you. I'm going to try putting... See if we get room for two. Alright, we got plenty of room in there. Oh, there's a mile. Yeah, I'm going to put another one in there and then try crushing that down and see how that works out for us. Yeah, didn't need the lock washer in there, but it's not going to hurt anything. See what we got from side to side. Still decent. Let's see what it does for... when we get our crush on. A lot better than what it was. Let's go to where we overdo it, where it doesn't pivot, and then we'll back off a little. That's not bad right there. Got some drag on it there. That's pretty good. And it still pivots. We're gonna leave it like that. That's not bad. Let's go slide the mower deck underneath there, but let's go see if there's any other stuff before that's on there. You know, so it's not in our way. The exhaust is kind of flapping around. I don't think this has to be clamped, because if it was, that engine's on rubber, so it has to have the capacity to move a little bit, so there's got to be some flex in between. Maybe we'll leave that alone, but we got that bolt is loose right there. Let me try tightening that up if I get rid of some of the rattle. What do you think? 15 millimeter, 14 millimeter, or is 9/16? It's pinching the wire though, huh? Can we get that out of there? That's the signal wire. Let's run that up high. Maybe we can put a pipe in it or something. Maybe try to bend down a little bit on this. Give it some clearance. There we go. That's better. Without it rattling. Yeah. Alright. What else? That front end doesn't look like it's ever been greased ever, huh? So it's just probably a set of like plastic bushings that are in there too. Let's go shoot some grease in there. Hopefully it'll out those sides. Should be one, yeah, one in the wheel too. We'll hit that one also. And when your grease has rust in it, it's due. Well, I think we can officially say the front end is not duct tape on anymore. Look how far spread apart that is. I'm going to try crushing that a little bit. I'm looking at that gap of the frame. That and that is supposed to be kind of snugging up and rubbing up against there. It's really spread out. Yeah, maybe I'll get a C-clamp or something on it. See what I'm talking about? That space there and that space there is way too much. Got to give it some support or else it's just going to take out that bolt too. Got a big ass C-clamp. Let's see if that'll influence it. Making noise. Is that? Yeah, you got to drop it down a little bit, get the bite a little bit lower. Also going to put some lube on the handle so it's not fighting me so hard. I think we'll get it. Well, it's better than what it was, right? Yeah. We got to remember I got the shims in the front side of it. That's much better. I'll do the same to the other side, just enough to kind of support it a little bit. Plus it's all the way down, you know, it has to swing in the up position. But that should give it some support. If the tire goes to hit something, it'll stop against that and try to worry about the bolt to try to stop it from moving. It's kind of captured in that frame. Sprung back a little bit. I think it's better than what it was. That's about where it should, you know, normally stay. And I did the other side. The other side's better than this side. I don't know if I want to take the wheel weights off. Maybe we're going to try to find a bolt that we can fix that part of it. Let me see where I got my stash. I'll probably take one off to see what size it is. Actually, it weighs 55 pounds. Let's go just take a long skinny bolt. We'll use it for like a depth gauge. Actually, did I get lucky? I might get it. Problem is it's sagging down a little. I might just do it. You're getting, where is it? Maybe. I ran it from the other side. And it's like we're just gonna make it. Put a washer on that and a nut. We'll crank that one down. 2 for 2. Chasing bolts. That's much better. I'll do the same to the other side, just enough to kind of support it a little bit. Plus it's all the way down, you know, it has to swing in the up position. But that should give it some support. If the tire goes to hit something, it'll stop against that and try to worry about the bolt to try to stop it from moving. It's kind of captured in that frame. Sprung back a little bit. I think it's better than what it was. That's about where it should, you know, normally stay. And I did the other side. The other side's better than this side. I don't know if I want to take the wheel weights off. Maybe we're going to try to find a bolt that we can fix that part of it. Let me see where I got my stash. I'll probably take one off to see what size it is. Actually, it weighs 55 pounds. Let's go just take a long skinny bolt. We'll use it for like a depth gauge. Actually, did I get lucky? I might get it. Problem is it's sagging down a little. I might just do it. You're getting, where is it? Maybe. Got it. So I took a peek underneath there for that 3-point hitch, and it does have a bar up here that runs in and out, and then there's like a float level. I think it's just frozen. Yeah, and that's why it's not. Let me try moving it now. See if it does anything. Yeah. I'm gonna throw some lube on those points, but that's how that works. Seems fairly simple. Everything moves better with lube, right? I think we got it. Still curious what that setup was. Maybe just like a tow ball was in there. You come up behind a trailer and lift it. No, it's got this in there. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Maybe that was in there. Not sure. What do you think? Let me know. Let's stick that up in there. wasn't too bad. It was missing, there's like 4 links in the center, 2 rods that come down from the front, and then there's a crossbar that keeps the deck from rocking side to side. That was missing, but the one off the 46-inch deck did fit it, so it's on there now. I'm gonna go adjust the tire pressure, set them all probably about 10 psi, 10, 12 psi, and we'll take a tape measure real quick and see how that mower deck is, if we've got to tweak it a little bit. That's pretty close. 3 of the tires are fine. One just needs a little bit. I'm gonna go look. That's we'll call that one, inch and a quarter, inch and a half. And this one's taller. The other side can go up or this side can come down. I'm gonna try adjusting. Let me grab the light. There's essentially 2 adjustments. You got these 2 up front right here. That kind of pitches the front and rear part of it. And then side to side, you have this adjustment right here. So I'm going to run this one up just a little bit to help huff up this side of the deck. And then we'll leave it at that. I don't know, midway. That's where I have it adjusted to right now. And we'll just give that a couple of spins. It's kind of like half the distance, because as you raise this side, the other side will drop down almost 50%. A little less, probably 40%. So if you come up 60% on this side, the other side it'll drop down 40. Let's see what we got. We are at 1 3/4. I'm gonna go check the other side. Yeah, this side's about 1 1/2. I'm gonna back off the other just a little bit, drop it back down again. Got little wheels on the back. Depends on the mower. Most of the time, they're really not meant to be rolling on the ground. Again, depends on the mower. Some do, but they're more for like anti-scalping. It's when the mower's on an angle, it doesn't. The deck doesn't dig all the way in and scoff into the ground. I'm going to drop it down a little lower. What was it? Was that? I want to go 1 lower than that. I may leave it right there. That's probably mid-distance. You can't go by where it's located here. Each hole's on a different angle. Believe it or not, even though it's on the end pin. That's midway at the stroke. So I can set the other one up kind of the same way. And like I said, they're just meant to keep it from on an angle, not digging into the ground. Yeah, it's much better. If you look level on underneath there now, it's a little higher than the table. Plus, there's playing them. It actually is going to be right about there. Oh, they're kind of sloppy. And it was all the way up, so they really weren't doing anything. So that might have even been, you know, what kind of caused all the problems with the mower deck to begin with. It was allowed to dig in at one point and, you know, locked up that center spindle and screwed things up. I still think the front end may have been what started it all. The front end fell apart. Maybe like it kind of drove over the front axle, took out that center link. I don't know. I'm not sure which, you know, happened first. Was the mower deck damaged first, and then he just used it for like pushing stuff around, or did the front end fall apart and take out the mower deck? I don't know. That's a little bent out, huh? Right there. Well, I think we can, we will lower it down. We'll function that mower deck and spin it up and see how it sounds. Get pretty close. What we got? Batteries kind of flopping around. Should we do that fuel filter, a piece of fuel line, and a seat? I think that'd be most of the mechanicals. Of course, you're gonna have fluids changed at some point, you know, belts, if you, whatever you want to get into, but I'm not going to get into it on this. I think the best place to be is on top of it. Someone wants to go fling itself, I'll be out of harm's way. You're on your own. So yeah. Go. sign. All right, let's, you know what we could probably do? We jump on the top, and maybe we'll pull that battery out of the way. We'll try to get that ignition switch tucked back in where it's supposed to go. And then we'll come up with something to hold that from flopping around. I might have an ignition switch in one of these little cubby holes. And hopefully it has some hardware on it. I'll take a peek, see what I can find. Nope. It's plastic. I'm sure we can get something to thread on there. Is that what we need? Yeah, it's about the same as the other one, huh? Nope. Yeah, you know why they're not like that. We need like one of those sheet metal screws where it's just got like one thread in it. So the freeze plugs. For some reason, there's freeze plugs with holes in the center. I was thinking, what about if we like cut a groove in it and like bend a corner up so it has like one thread on it, and maybe we could spin that down. It looks pretty close to the diameter. Let's give it a shot. Right. You got one? You got one. You want to go that way? I don't know if I'll have even enough room. Let's go like this. So we would want that edge bent down, right? Kind of give it a lead. We want the other end up? Let's see, why not? That'd be overkill. Let's see. Huh? See if it'll hold. That's not, might work though. Get in there. Maybe. That's in there pretty good as long as the key fits. Like when that works. I'm gonna plug that in. I'm gonna go just double check. It seems like a lot of these switches are kind of flapping around. So you get for batteries, got those little plastic things that are, you know, kind of like what's in your license plate. I wonder if it's like 1/4 rod. I think I have some threaded rod. I'll see if that fits. If it does, we'll just take that and probably like a piece of angle iron or something across to help hold it down. I think we can make it 1/4. A little bit of drag to it, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll run that in and we'll probably just, you know, run that in on each side, whatever we can. We'll just put a nut on top with a piece of angle. That should do it. Yeah, judging how clean that battery is, I think what they did, they probably went and got a battery for it and tried it. That's why it's not tightened down. See, we'll cut it, we'll make it, drill a hole there, drill a hole there, we'll cut it to length there. Yeah, I think they tried putting a new battery in it. Probably the tractor didn't run, or you know, they didn't know to hit the brake pedal to start it. Whatever it was, maybe they even pulled that ignition switch back to try to get it to go. I didn't realize it should be a date on it somewhere. Usually is. I see a thing on it. Oh well. It works. That's all I care. I get it all whittled out, go to put the other side on. It's a broken bolt. They broke it off inside there. I just drilled a hole next to it and put a nut on the bottom side. That should be fine. Well, the one piece of fuel line is showing its age. The line below it actually looks fine. Should replace all of it, but I don't have enough. Everything's closed at the moment. So we're gonna go chase at least what's leaking. What's weird to find about fuel line is if it has fuel in it, like if it maintains fuel, it has a tendency to stay pretty good. It's just when the fuel evaporates out of it, seems like it goes to crap. And this one's got, as you can see, just cracking and right down the center of it. Actually, it looks like it's a different fuel line than the lower half. So the lower half still looks good, because this has writing on it and the other side doesn't. Get right out of there. So get a new filter and a piece of line to replace that. This isn't fuel line. This is a vacuum pulse. The fuel pump over here takes a pulse up the crankcase. That's where the other one is attached to. And it just pushes the diaphragm back and forth, and that's what works that fuel pump. So there's no fuel inside this, and then there's a short piece of line that goes out to the carburetor. I'll take a peek at that real close too. That's a little better. Release the hounds. Yeah, I filled the fuel filter right up. There's no real pressure there. It's actually vacuum if you really want to think about it, because it's on the receiving side of the fuel pump, so it's pulling this direction. So there's never really any pressure on there. I think that's good. What do we got left to do? All right, what do we got left? What do we got done? So the engine seems like it's okay. I'm not gonna bother pulling the carb or anything. I'm gonna run this for a little while. You know, cut my grass and everything and see what kind of pops up. Sometimes stuff does a little bit later, but batteries hooked up, front end is taken care of, tire pressures are done, sloppy wheel weights taken care of, ignition switch falling out is done. Rebuilt the mower deck and got that up and running and leveled. 3-point hitch works. Gas cap, we'll keep an eye out for one if we find a better one than what's there. What else we got? The exhaust is fixed. We got an idea how the plow setup would work on this. Yeah, I think we're pretty close. Let's take a look at that seat and see if that's going to help us at all. Anything better than what this one was. Actually, I think that one tractor that we looked at back there had that bolt setup on it. Maybe we could take that whole assembly. No, I think what was different though, it had a different safety on it. It had a 3-wire safety, which is when they get, so I think they started getting sneakier for people unplugging them. Let me go see what I got. You can see anything better than that. Well, of course, they're totally different from each other. That's got basically one bolt in the center of it that slides, and that's probably what you would tighten down to lock it. And it looks like it, you know, goes in a track. And this one has nothing of that. It's got probably a pivot point on the pan, probably like an MTD or something. Well, there's nothing saying that we can't, if we get a new seat that matches this, or whoever in the future wants to get the correct seat for it, they still can. Again, it's just one bolt. And the center should take it all off, and everything should still work. The safety should still work. Let's unbolt that crap and see if we could possibly get like maybe that hole and that hole. We'll just drill. Actually, there's a hole right there. We can't get that lucky, can we? There's 2 holes in it. Maybe we'll try to get it just so it's kind of bolted up on there. We'll find a happy medium as far as the distance forward it is, and call it a day. I'd rather be a high top too. You know, I'm not that crazy about that style. I like the ones with the back comes up a little further. Yeah, I don't need a bath, huh? Right about there I think is a good spot for it. Let's go flip her up. So we want to be finger's length back on that center pan. We weren't going to get that lucky. Let's eyeball it. I'd say right about there on that one. And there on that one. And I'd say probably right there. I think that's square. I can measure these two up. As long as that distance is even, it won't be racked at all, you know. Alright, let's drill it. Keep a cup of them. Them. That might need a bath. And there it is after a little wipe down. Looks really good. Came out nice. It's a good machine. You know, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you buy now is just so crappy. They just keep making them cheaper and cheaper. You know, this is the decent garden tractor. You know, riding lawnmower garden tractor. Value of it, I'd say with the plow, it's probably worth about $650. It's 31 years old. We've spent 0.0 on it. If I had to go buy some of the stuff that I had in my stash, it'd be a different story, but I didn't. That's the whole idea of hoarding on to that junk that you can go and pick from. Try to bring it back to life. Yeah, it came out good. If I hook the seat safety up, all that will still work. I'll leave it off for now. Yeah. Unless you can get a 25 horsepower hydrostatic tractor with electric PTO, 50-inch mower deck, 3-point hitch, and a plow. That's a nice little machine. Everything seems like it functions fine. It's nice and quiet. It doesn't make much noise compared to a regular one that sounds like a buzz box. The fact that it's a twin cylinder too, I think helps it, and you know, possibly that little extra exhaust. Charging system works. It does have an amp gauge on it, and it is going up, so it is recharging the battery. I was going to go check that with a meter, but I think we're all right. But I guess it seems to work decently. Mower deck's nice and quiet. Controls are good. Transmission's nice and quiet. So I think it'll be a good addition. I'm gonna, again, something else I want to add on to it at some point, but I'm gonna run it around here, I don't know, till into the fall at least, cutting the grass, and make sure there's no other issues with it. I'm either gonna kick it to the curb or it's gonna get used for something. We'll see. Alright guys, with that I'm gonna go sign off. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me, having a little bit of fun, bringing old stuff back to life, stuff that would have been, you know, ground up and turned into soda cans, and it should be good for another good 5 or 10 years of life left in it. Alright guys, with that, thanks for hanging out. See ya. Hey guys, how's it going? I was at an estate sale this past weekend, and that's where we are now. I grabbed a couple of things. I asked them if they had any power equipment around, and they said it was something was parked in between here. And see, on the other side of that, there's an old tractor, but it does not run. You're welcome to it if you want it. So I came back with my trailer, and I'm gonna go drag it up. Hopefully. So we should possibly be able to recover it and bring it back to life. If not, we'll figure out why it doesn't run and possibly if we could fix it. It's a decent machine. It is a Craftsman. It looks like mid-80s to be my guess, judging by the color and the shape and the size of it. It's what would be called like a GT or a garden tractor, which is heavier than a lawn tractor. If those wheel weights are off, it's got like 5 lug wheels on it, and it's just more beefy. It's one that you could do. You can put a snowblower or a plow on it and actually kind of work it because it will handle it. Got wheel weights on the back. Looks like it's got a manual 3-point hitch. I think it's manual. 3-point hitch on the back. I don't know what would have been on there. Looks like they dragged out a lawnmower. If I want to take that, I guess that's a part of the deal too. They've long since been gone. The property I think goes up for sale next week as is. It's kind of a cool place. Had like 25 rooms in it. Hydrostatic drive, 50-inch mower deck, it looks like it says, 25 horse, V-twin. It also, let's go open the hood. It's missing an ignition switch. 25 horse. There's a bee's nest in it. Yeah, they're flying around. They're not happy. Look like wasps. Yeah. They bite you just for spite. You don't even have to piss them off. Hang back a little. Looks like it's pretty dirty. Looks like they were mowing probably in a sandy area, kicked all that dirt up. Looks like it's got an oil leak too. The bottom of it's all kind of soaked. I don't know why it doesn't run, what the issue was. Did it blow up? Does it, you know, just from sitting and it hasn't been used and it has an issue? Don't know the answer to that, and they didn't know the answer to it either. It looks like it's been sitting here probably for a couple of years is my guess. And out in the weather, you see how weathered the seat is. The foam is rotted, the plastic's rotted away, and then the foam has changed color. So it's definitely been out here for quite a while. Got electric PTO set up. How many hours are on? It's got an hour meter. 765. For in a gas engine, that's probably about half its life. Gas engines, 1,500 hours if they've been taken care of, is generally what you can kind of get out of them, depending on which one it is. All right, I think we should not kind of go screw with those bees because they know they're going to get me. I brought my trailer that squats down to the ground, so we'll back that one up and we'll just kind of drag it on with the winch maybe and bring it back to the office. Hopefully the ride home will kind of blow some of the bees away and we won't have to deal with that. All right, let's get set up, get that on the trailer, and get out of here.